Welcome to the Savage Nation. Stop the madness. Treason is in the air. We're all asking who did it. Everyone in America with a political mind is talking about the assassination of this young, brilliant, heroic, decent man, Charlie Kirk. First, the FBI says they've arrested a suspect, and then they say they released him. So the people don't know what to think. And that's why I came on tonight. I thought very carefully whether I should do this tonight or not. And I still don't know whether I should do this or not, but I know that people are saying, please open up a live chat because people are sick tonight. The young girl from Ukraine had her throat slashed by a deranged black maniac who said, by the way, I was sick all night last night after my broadcast. I was very, very ill from getting so worked up over it. The deranged black maniac who slashed the Ukrainian girl's throat, the look of that girl's face as she was dying will never leave my mind. She was everybody's daughter. The black maniac cut the throat of America's daughters. And he said that he had voices in his head. Really? And what were those voices in the schizophrenic's head? I got the white girl? Oh, so where did he get that voice from? Joe Biden? How many years did he say white privilege, white supremacy, white supremacists? How many years has Pritzker and all of the others put down white people and the white race in America? Maybe that's where the schizophrenic got in his head to slash that innocent girl's throat, that it was okay to do so. And now let's talk about Charlie Kirk. All we're asking today is, who did it? No, I don't know. You don't know. So the first thought I had today or tonight was, I will consult with religious people that I know and ask them what the Bible has to say about political violence. And I got some answers. They're not on target, but here's one. Pray for the welfare of the government, for were it not for fear of it, people would swallow each other alive. Wow. That's interesting. Pray for the welfare of the government, for not for fear of it, people would swallow each other alive. I got that from two religious sources. It's not right on target for me. Closer to the target for me is this saying. It began like this. I cannot comprehend the madness of the times. Treason is in the air around us everywhere. It goes by the name of patriotism. Thomas Corwin to Abraham Lincoln, 1861. Stop the Coming Civil War, 2013, by myself. A few weeks ago, I said to you right here on this broadcast, on this channel rather, that I feel I can safely sort of get ready for retirement in a way, because there are a lot of young people out there doing the job that I used to do and felt I was out there alone. And Charlie was at the top of the list. He was one of them. He was a great organizer. He had me beat when it came to organization. I never organized anything. And he was a future presidential or senator. Future senator who absolutely could have been a politician if he wanted to be. Young family, young wife and children. He was killed in front of them. We still do not know by whom. But minutes before this broadcast, I got this from someone who follows me on X. I put it up on X, by the way. You can find me at a Savage Nation. We are the Utah chapter of the Socialist Rifle Association. And their logo is that of 3 bullets. Utah chapter of the Socialist Rifle Association. Isn't that interesting? I suppose the FBI has seen that. It's all over the internet. We put it up. Now, the actual assassination, if you looked at it, he was dead immediately. He was instantly killed. They covered up his death. If you watch the shooting and you see he was hitting the carotid artery, he was instantly killed. He had no pain and no fear. He was killed instantly, and it was a professional hit. I don't care what all of the idiots are going to say how easy a shot it was. That was not an easy shot. It was a headshot. This was a pro hitter, and he's still on the run. They don't have him. And it was a large caliber rifle because the report, the sound, was pretty loud. Could have been an ex-military sniper or a military sniper. We don't know who it is. My intuitive guess is that this was not an amateur. First of all, he hit him with a headshot from 200-300 yards. Very difficult, not easy, no matter what the liars say on the internet. I don't care if you have a telescope, not an easy shot. One shot, not three, one. It was a sniper who was military background, and he got away, meaning he was not working alone. He was working with others. Getaway car was there. Team. I suppose the FBI knows all of this. I mean, they're in the business of knowing these things. I was already numb with rage over the black crime wave against white people being buried by Jake Tapper, Wolf Blitzer, Governor Pritzker, and the sick American left. I was already sick from this. Now this, I don't know how much more anyone could take of this. I was numb with rage, and now I see the cult of death has assassinated a heroic young American man, family man at that, and we don't know who did it. He was appealing to the younger generation, and now he's dead. If you watch the actual impact of the instantly killed instantly, it was clear to me he was dead instantly. There was so much blood that shot out of his neck. Carotid artery, bing, gone. He didn't even know he was hit. Nothing, over. Somebody is behind this, and it could be a government. There's something much bigger going on here with the killing of the Ukrainian girl by the so-called schizophrenic black homeless person. Did you see the look of the face of that young girl after did you actually see it? As the man came behind her, the subhuman came up behind her, cut her throat. She didn't even know it was happening. And she looked and put her feet up like a girl protecting herself. I'm a father. Every instinct in me wanted to reach in and pull the man's heart out. What he did to that girl. I never saw anything quite as horrible in my life. I mean, I've seen a lot of murder shows and, but when you see in real life a young person's life being taken away by an animal who then gets up and walks with blood dripping on a knife, and he's in jail today, he wasn't killed instantly by a mob. Any sane country would have been chopped to death by men on the train right after that. They would have killed him. I spoke to a Mexican. He said, Michael, this doesn't happen in Mexico. Nobody would do that to a girl in Mexico, ever. He told me what goes on there, what he fled. But getting back to our increasingly becoming like Mexico and other third world countries where political opponents are now being killed, and it's normalized by MSNBC, who should have its license revoked tonight by Donald Trump. Donald Trump has the power to pull the FCC license from MSNBC for putting out this kind of violent hatred and violent rhetoric. Pull their license. And now we'll go a step further. I'm not going to sit here and wring my hands. There are things the president can do. He can pull the license of MSNBC for promoting violence against conservatives, against Republicans, against the presidency. Whether it's Rachel Madcow with the smirks and the sneers like she's just a lesbian in a dormitory somewhere, smirking with her girlfriends. No, you did it. You normalized this, Rachel. That's my opinion. If you don't like it, you know what you can do with it. The cult of death strikes America. Charlie is dead. Pro hitter still on the run. Don't know who it is. You can guess all you want. It's all over the internet. Everyone's guessing. Everyone's guessing. So let's guess with each other tonight. Who did it? Do you think we'll really know the actual shooter? I don't know. If he's on the run for this long, I'm a little concerned that a patsy is on the way. if you know what I'm saying. See, I'm drinking water tonight. No martinis, no wine, no inciting my rage. There's enough going on in me. America can't take this. It's killing the country. And that's what they want. What they want is to incite a civil war. We've seen it for a long time. I wrote Stop the Coming Civil War in 2013. I really wanted to call the book The Coming Civil War, but the editor said it's too much, so call it Stop the Coming Civil War. But it's a slow-going civil war. They try to kill the president. They missed twice. So now they're killing his soldiers. They're killing his soldiers. They're taking out his lead soldiers on the battlefield of ideas. Cult of death strikes America. You see people celebrating this on MSNBC. Forget on TikTok or on the internet. You'd expect the lunatics, the crazy ones, the Medicaid like that. But they're not the ones who did it. Remember, there's the rapist never flashes. I was told that in the early days of radio when I was getting death threats, day and night. I'm not going to talk about me. Trust me, I'm not going to do that. We had events closed down from bomb threats at the Oakland Airport Hilton. But we went on. We kept doing it with the compassionate conservative events. But I was told by a program director at the radio station, he said, look, dismiss most of these death threats you get. He said, rapists don't flash. Get it? That means they don't flash themselves in a raincoat. They go out and rape. And it's the same with people who commit violence. They generally do not broadcast that they're going to commit violence. They just commit the violence. Same thing is happening in Germany. There have been 9 leaders of the AF party killed. The communists are absolutely organized, and they are killing. That's right. The communists are now killing people they oppose in Germany, now in America. Don't think this is an individual. I told you there's the handwriting of military is all over this one. The cult of death strikes America. Any sane Democrat politician who wants to retain any credibility would have given a speech tonight and say that our hearts are broken. And while we disagreed with Charlie Kirk's message, political violence is always wrong. And we back President Trump 100% in finding the assassin and prosecuting him to the full extent of the law. And hopefully he'll get the death penalty. By the way, it's in Utah, which has the death penalty. Firing squad, by the way, I believe. And the governor of Utah said they will give this person, they will kill him or her, whoever. It, him, her, it. We don't know who it is yet. So we can start saying this one did it, that one did it. What is the point? We don't know. Maybe by tomorrow we'll have someone arrested and then the one arrested. We don't know. Is this another patsy job coming up? I don't know. The cult of death strikes America. I got very upset last night after my YouTube video while I was cooking about the assassination of that young white girl. Here is a girl who fled Ukraine to get away from war, and she has a throat cut by a deranged black homeless psychopath allowed to roam the streets because a black judge let her out. So the black judge also is involved with a group that treats people that the judge lets out of jail and gets money for doing it. Judge should be in jail today. Next day, slammer. Bingo. Next day, follow the money. Imagine he's giving jailhouse interviews. Mr. Schizophrenic black throat cutter is giving interviews the next day in the jail. How's that even possible? Why has he not been given a job on MSNBC, along with a few of the others who are on the same level as him? And by the way, where's Al Sharpton, the race hustler? Where is he? Where's Al Sharpton? Nothing to say about slashing that white girl's throat? He approves of it? I doubt it, but why didn't he say he disapproves of it? Why didn't he signal all the animals out there not to do things like this? because he's not a leader. He's not a leader. He's a grifter. He's a grifter. Okay, my friends, there's not much more I could say that will help the conversation today. I don't want to hear pray for Charlie Kirk. I'm not going to get into thoughts and prayers. I won't do that. No thoughts and prayers. We want vengeance, not thoughts and prayers. We want the assassin caught and executed in the state of Utah by firing a squad as fast as possible. How did the shooter get on the rooftops? Those doors to university roof blocks. I don't know. Was it, well, let's not guess again. We don't know. His group is called Turning Point USA. Today is the turning point. And for those of you who say that after the young girl had her throat cut by the black, schizophrenic, maniac, homeless piece of subhuman trash about conceal and carry, you know how stupid that is? He came up behind her with a knife. She didn't even know he was there. What do you mean conceal and carry? All of you are like, big shots on the internet. What good is a gun if a guy comes up behind you in a subway and cuts your throat? What are you talking about? Most people don't even know what they're talking about with regard to anything. But I know what I'm talking about when I call the Democrat Party the cult of death. And when I say Jake Tapper cut her throat, and I say Jake Tapper and Wolf Blitzer and Governor Pritzker assassinated Charlie Kirk, I stand by those words. Their rhetoric killed Charlie Kirk. Their rhetoric cut that young Ukrainian girl's throat because they justified it with a wink and a nod. Oh, we don't believe in violence, but we can't control what might happen out there. Get it? And then bury the story. Talk about Trump now and the Epstein files. Go ahead. Go back to the Epstein files 2 seconds later. That's what they're doing already. I don't think I can elucidate anything further for you other than I've seen the violence since the killing of JFK, RFK, Martin Luther King Jr. I mean, I lived through the 60s when this happened. There was violence in America then. They're setting the stage for more confrontation between citizens of the United States than you can imagine. And we don't know where this is coming from. Charlie wasn't particularly anti-Islamist that I know of, but he was anti-progressive. He was anti-Antifa. He was anti-Antifa. As I see it in a chapter called The Long March, written in 2013, I'll read from my own book. If you don't like it, then turn the show off. I wrote this: as I see it, the state of our union is in the most perilous position it's been in since the 1860s. I didn't write that, but I wanted to get your attention. I said the 1860s. Actually, I did write that, but I was referring to the 1860s. We are under assault from both inside and out as our government moves to consolidate its domestic power. This is while Obama was in power, while at the same time weakening our defenses against the growing power of our global enemies. And all the while, the liberal government media complex watches storm clouds gather with few keystrokes of reportage, outrage, or resistance. I fear the worst, I wrote 12 years ago. Right now, Americans are angrier and more divided than I've seen them since the 1960s. What fires this rage is that we become a post-constitutional society. This was all started by Barack Hussein Obama. He turned white against black, black against white, funded by George Soros and many, many others who can be arrested, by the way, for inciting violence. They could go and break the doors down of Soros's mansions and take him and his son in today and let them prove their innocence. They provoked this. How many years has this been after Fort Sumter? How many years since Fort Sumter, when Fort Sumter surrendered and the American Civil War began? Barack Obama announced his first presidential campaign in Abraham Lincoln's hometown of Springfield, Illinois. In that speech, Obama declared that he was, quote, out to free a people, unquote, and, quote, transform a nation. Without question, I wrote, we're living in a nation more divided than any since Lincoln's presidency, and we've entered a time and place that may be as dangerous as it was during the Lincoln years. So Barack Obama was the first very, very clever, very, very glib divider in chief. Probably the most successful black against white, brought up against the war against the police. And now we see, it's interesting, in New York, a Muslim communist is about to win the mayorship. How is that possible? With all the crime that New Yorkers would vote for a criminal who wants more crime. How is that possible? Well, there's another element to this that I'm going to stomach, and that is the drugs that are fueling a lot of this violence. Since marijuana has been legalized, violence escalated to a great extent. And I will remind you something that you have heard only on my show, which is that the word assassin derives from the Arabic hashish is derived from the Arabic word for assassin. Hashish, assassin, because Arabic assassins would smoke hashish before going out to kill people. It made them violent. It numbed their senses and allowed them to kill. I have seen an uptick in violence since the introduction of very, very potent strains of marijuana, THC, gummies, whatever you want to call them. It's everywhere. I know people have left New York because they can't take the smell, the stink of dope in the streets. They hate it. Marijuana is fueling a lot of the violence in this country. And the lower down you go in society, the more marijuana is smoked, along with the other drugs, crackton sold in gasoline stations, kraton, from a plant that comes from Asia that's said to be, hallucinogenic and mildly sedative, but it's also possibly psychoactive and produces violence. Drugs. The cult of death strikes America. Now, way back in the day, George Soros, again, who is probably in my mind the most evil man that's ever existed in America. I would say he is the most, in my mind, one man's opinion. He funded all the DAs who unleashed all of these maniacs on the streets. He funded the judges who were releasing the maniacs on the streets. How much more evil does it get? I remember, and I don't know the year, I was on the radio, and Soros had hired some speakers to go around the country to argue for the legalization, of medical marijuana. And I debated them. They were trying to put on a ballot initiative in Arizona and California, the legalization of so-called medical marijuana. And I argued then, and I was right, of course, that this was not about medical marijuana at all. That was only to open the door to make marijuana itself legal. Now, let me be very clear. I think marijuana should be decriminalized, but not legalized. And I think it should absolutely be not allowed to be smoked in the streets. Any more than you can walk around with an open container, you should be arrested for smoking dope in the streets. That's number one. But that's a separate topic. I'm trying to tie the drugs and the extensive drug usage to George Soros. And just like the Chinese were doped up by the British with opium, okay, you know about that, don't you? The British imprisoned the entire nation of China with opium. They put them in chains by turning them into opium addicts. And you know how that ended, the opium addiction in China? Through the Boxer Rebellion. You know what that was? The martial artists of China got together and beat the shit out of the British and threw the merchants out of the country. They beat them up and threw them out of the country. The Boxer Rebellion was an anti-drug war. Again, and you're not going to read this in a history book. So again, we go to the main theme here. The cult of death strikes America. I'm trying to combine some elements here: drugs, money, Soros. Now, we haven't talked about Antifa. Antifa is at war with America right now. Antifa, anti-fascists, call themselves anti-fascists when they are the fascists. They're at war with America. Are they responsible for this? I have no idea whatever. But I did show you, because a person sent it to me 1 hour ago. I never heard of them. This, where is this? Replying to a Savage Nation. The Utah chapter of the Socialist Rifle Association, UTSRA. Look at it on at a Savage Nation. Look at the logo. It shows a B on top. It shows some kind of military emblem on the side of the circle and 3 high caliber rounds of ammunition. Utah SRA. If you'd like to get involved, send an email too, and they give an address. I would hope that Mr. Patel has given them a call. Who's calling me during a broadcast? I'm very curious if this has anything to do with the broadcast. Oh, nothing to do with the broadcast. I'm just slightly distracted. So we're all very numb with rage. The murders, we can't take it anymore. The young girl, but she wasn't alone. No. The black guy who cut her throat, when I saw the face of that young girl in her last moments of life, as she looked up, she didn't even know what had happened, and she pulled her legs up as a girl would do to protect herself. This innocent angel comes here and is working a minimum wage job in a pizza parlor, still wearing the pizza uniform, going home by public transportation with the other workers or welfare recipients, and this subhuman cuts her throat because she was white. I got that white girl. He's still living, by the way. Oh, yeah, he's probably being treated very well. Oh, the social workers are probably, how are you, Mr. Jones? How are you feeling today? Can we get you something? Numb with rage. That wasn't enough. What about the one just before that? What about the one also killed by a subhuman murderer? Auburn veterinary prof hacked to death by fiend. Retired nurse or doctor walking a dog. Another deranged black man, I'm sorry, that's the way it is, killed her while she was walking her dog. September 8th, elderly California jewelry store owner assaulted by gang of masked thieves during smash and grab robbery. He had a stroke as this gang of youths broke into his jewelry store by driving in San Jose, California, and ransacked his jewelry store. This is while Gavin Newsom spent hundreds of millions of dollars trying to control this, because it's a turnstile. Even when they catch them, they let them out the next day. So you say, what does this have to do with Charlie Kirk? Everything. It's all connected. She fled Ukraine for safety and was stabbed to death by this piece of subhuman trash. Elderly California jewelry store owner assaulted by gang of mass thieves during smash grab robbery. He had a stroke. I don't know if he's alive. Auburn veterinary professor hacked to death by fiend. Another racial crime. 14 times this black thug was released before he stabbed a white woman to death in a train. This murder wasn't random. It was a hate crime. And the system let it happen. Magistrate judge was a black woman who has no law degree so far as anyone knows, who's involved with a clinic that treats those they release. New York, September 9th. 2 white people. Black man, Queens. Black man went door to door saying, "Can I charge my cell phone, please?" Enough people said no. They didn't open the door. They're alive. This nice old liberal couple said, sure. They were afraid to be calling racist. They let him in. He tied them to chairs, tortured them, and then set their house on fire. FDNY paramedics' dad found Shane killed in Queens house fire. Take a look at the eyes of the murderer. Crime wave. Kirk is dead, was a pro hitter. He's still on the run. It was a professional hit. He was not captured. They released him already. Everyone's guessing who it is. We don't know who it is. You know who it is? Nobody does. 31-year-old Charlie Kirk, 200-yard shot, no security measures at the event. I must tell you that was a little lax on their part. I don't know how they didn't understand the danger they were in this country under the left right now. Horrible to watch the video. Just horrible. What's going on with the FBI? I don't get it. I just don't get it. The subject in custody has been released after interrogation by law enforcement. Our investigation continues, and we will continue to release information in the interest of transparency. What? So now there's stuff from an Omar at Najra Galvzi at X. It says, Charlie Kirk is coming to my college tomorrow. I really hope someone evaporates him literally. Omar says, let's just say something big happened tomorrow. Has the FBI visited Omar at Najra, whatever? Trans, by the way. We don't know if he did it, but he did say he wanted him atomized. The world has changed, ladies and gentlemen. You can live in a dream world if you want, but the world is never going to be the same. The devil has been released in America. Utah County Dispatch described the Charlie Kirk shooting suspect as follows on a police scanner, just east of the library, wearing jeans, black shirt, black mask, carrying a long rifle. Who did it? I don't know. Now, watch this guy behind Charlie. He makes a very odd hand-arm gesture seconds before the shot. See, the conspiracy theories are starting already. They're saying someone signaled the guy on the roof just before Charlie Kirk was shot on the Utah campus. Trans activists shouted at him, holding a sign about judgment up on the roof at the campus. Oh, yeah. I don't know, they arrested some old bald guy. They released him. I don't even know what he did. I have no idea. He did something to motivate this. Charlie built one of the biggest youth movements in the U.S. history and taken out because he was a threat to them. I don't know how they could not arrest the guy after a thing like, how is this possible? How could the FBI not? How is it possible? How could they not know where he is? I don't get it. With all of the advanced technology in the world, here, his pictures right on the internet. Seconds before the disaster, trans on the roof, rainbow flags. There's pictures of them. You haul them in and you interrogate them. I don't care what Marvin from the ACLU says. Screw Marvin and the ACLU. They're enablers of violence anyway. Arrest them. Interrogate them, all trans activists on the roof who are saying these things. It's there. It's on the internet. I have it right here. Right before Charlie Kirk was shot on the Utah campus, trans activists shouted at him, holding up a sign about judgment. There they are. There's pictures of them. Someone sent it to me at michaelsavage.com. So, there's a lot of internet sleuths out there. I don't know who did it. Neither do you. We're all guessing. Saw a guy crawling around on the roof. Really, how did he get away so fast? With all the people there, no one knows where he went? Okay, we'll end with that. He was a pro hitter, pro shooter, military background, or police background. ABC. He had assistance because he got away. There was a car waiting for him. Boom, gone. So maybe we'll never know. Maybe we won't know who did it. But I will close the way I began. Charlie Kirk, cult of death strikes America. We're all different today. After the killing of the Ukrainian girl, and now there's only so much people can take. But they're not in fear, they're enraged. They're enraged, they're not in fear. And I hope they're motivated to shut up the left really good. Shut them up really good. And I hope Trump shuts down MSNBC for inciting violence. Trump can pull their license yesterday and shut racial mad cow up for good. That lesbian snickering, with her, like she's somewhere in a college campus about everything in this country. Faith, family, borders, language, culture. It's a joke to that snide piece of crap. Shut them down. They're inciting violence. It's called MSNBC. That's Microsoft. Didn't he just have lunch with Donald Trump? Microsoft NBC? He knows Bill Gates. I mean, Microsoft. MSNBC. I used to be on MSNBC. I had a show there for 3 months, 25 years ago. I lasted 3 months. They assassinated me politically. They shut me up. They shut me down. They threw me off the air. The cult of death strikes America. Let's pray to God that this stops. Let's hope that YouTube doesn't shut me down again tonight and censor me again. I have freedom of speech. Next week, the president's going to England to visit the wonderful prime minister. Do they believe in freedom of speech? I'm banned in Britain. I couldn't even go there if I wanted to. I know this has nothing to do with Charlie, but it's intertwined. Our freedoms are under assault. I actually sent an email to an assistant to the president earlier today, begging them to please speak to Keith Starmer about getting my name off that list. Went to a dead letter box. I wish they would. Why should I have to have my reputation destroyed by lies? So it begins with freedom of speech being curtailed. They kill your speech and then they kill you. Stop you from speaking, they kill you, the left. So again, Charlie Kirk, a great man, a great leader, a great inspiration to millions of young people, killed by the death cult called the Democrat Party, the Democrat media complex, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, all of the other liars and purveyors of lies and of hatred. How many years did they say whites no good, America no good, borders no good, English no good, our culture no good? Everyone's upset tonight. And I'm glad I could be with you while I still have freedom of speech here in America, because all we can do is talk about this right now. But I think I'll close with what I almost opened with, which is I said to you, I contacted several religious people who I trust and asked them, are there any religious sayings in the Bible or elsewhere where they talk about political here? Are there any sayings or writings about political violence? And I was sent this by a rabbi. He said, pray for the welfare of the government, for were it not for fear of it, people would swallow each other alive. I want Antifa to fear the government. I want George Soros to fear the government. I don't want him to sleep tonight. I want all the leftists who fund Antifa to fear the government tonight. I want Wolf Blitz Tapper to fear the government tonight. I want them all to fear it. That's what I want. How about you? How about you? What do you want? You want more death? You want more suppression of free speech? You want to be forced to fear to leave your own house? I'm not going to be afraid. I'm just going to sit in my house. I'm not going to hide in my house. I'm 83 years old. I'm not hiding in my house. And I'm going to speak out. I thought tonight, should I stop it? A friend of mine called who loves me. And he said, Michael, please don't do those YouTube shows anymore. What do you need it for? You're a wealthy man and this and that. Why are you doing it? He said, you're not making any money for it. I said, no, I'm not in about money. So what are you doing it for? He said, why don't you just enjoy your life? I said, what do you want to do? Play golf? I don't play golf. Travel? I don't travel for fun. Who would do a thing like that? This is what I do for fun. Because if you know the truth and you speak the truth shall set you free. God bless America. God bless President Trump, and may he bring this government down upon the cult of death. Good night, and God bless.